Arrival and challenge, the cold inside the alien warship pressed into every corner, as if the metal itself was made from ancient, frozen fear. Pale blue lights pulsed along the corridors, tracing the ship's bones like nervous veins. At the center, surrounded by a circle of armored guards, stood a human. No armor, no weapon, his hands tied behind his back, but his posture was unbent, head held high. His name was Colehart, and he was the first human prisoner General Velza had ever accepted aboard. The dreadnought Z Rack-9. General Velza herself was an imposing figure. Scales of silver glinting like blades, crimson eyes shining with the kind of authority that only comes from decades of unquestioned command. She had built her power on a single principle. Those who controlled fear controlled everything else. Today, she intended to teach that lesson once more. Cole stood motionless as Velza circled him, boots striking sparks from the deck with every step. "You are a guest of my warship," she announced, her voice echoing through the command hall. "But you are here not to bargain. You are here to learn what power truly is." Around her, her soldiers twice the height of a man, faces hidden behind insectile masks, laughed and pounded weapons against the floor. Cole did not respond. He watched her the way a climber watches the edge of a cliff without blinking. Velza smiled with cold satisfaction, then raised a gloved hand. A steel door hissed open at the far end of the room, and the lights dimmed to a shuddering gloom. From the darkness, a guttural growl rumbled, a sound that made even the bravest of Velza's guard shuffle backward. The beast emerged, a mountain of muscle and black, spiked hide, with eyes that glowed like dying suns. Its mouth split open, to reveal rows of teeth dripping with venom. It was called Deathbringer, and there was no story in Velza's empire in which it did not end the scene in blood. The creature's roar shook the deck. Guards shifted uneasily, remembering the last time Deathbringer had been unleashed, an entire platoon of rebel commandos shredded in minutes. This was Velza's demonstration, her final argument. Even hope, in the end, was devoured by monsters. She gestured. "Let us see if the Death Wielder's courage is real." Deathbringer advanced, each step pounding, hot breath steaming in the air. Cole's eyes met the monster's, without flinching, his body as still as a winter lake. The beast loomed over him, jaws open wide, fangs gleaming, venom hissing from the tips. For a long moment, nothing happened. No sound, no movement, just the stare between monster and man. Deathbringer's roar rose, echoing like a storm. But Cole didn't move, not an inch. He didn't even blink. The silence thickened. Guards glanced at each other. Velza's smile faded, just a shade. Deathbringer's snarl faltered. Its massive head tipped sideways, nostrils flaring, as if searching for a reason to attack. But still, Cole remained, unafraid. With a shudder, the beast backed away. Its claws skittered across the floor, scraping deep gouges in the metal. For the first time, it whimpered a low, uncertain sound. And then, astonishingly, it retreated to the darkness from which it came. The guards fell silent. The command deck, usually so loud and triumphant, was suddenly filled with something strange uncertainty. Velza approached Cole, her eyes narrow. "Why didn't you flinch, human?" Cole turned to her, his gaze steady, his voice quiet but clear. "Because I have seen fear. It doesn't rule me." Behind them, the beast's door slammed shut with a final, shuddering clang. And as the guards escorted Cole away, rumors ran like fire through the ship. The human hadn't even blinked. The monster, Deathbringer, had backed down. Something was different now, something Velza, in all her years, had never seen before. Probing the human cell, 9 was more vault than prison, ringed with force fields, thick with shadow. Cole sat on his bench, hands free, eyes fixed on a point far beyond the featureless wall. He might have been carved from stone, save for the slow, even rhythm of his breath. Outside his cell, guards whispered, casting wary glances at the human whose presence made the beast whimper in its cage. In the laboratory above, Science officer Leica studied a screen filled with readings from Cole's intake scans. Normal, the data insisted. Human heart, human blood, human bones. But the images didn't match the legend that was spreading through Zurich 9. Leica's mind whirled with questions. General Velza stormed in, impatience seething under her skin. Scan him. Again. Find out what makes him different. I want the truth. Leica nodded, gathering her equipment. She carried a memory probe, delicate orb, designed to extract thoughts and experiences without pain. Cole watched her enter his cell with mild curiosity. Please sit still, she said. Cole shrugged, barely moving. The orb hovered at his temple, its lights flickering. Memories flashed childhood in a ruined city, huddled in darkness as distant bombs fell. A young man walking alone into battle while others ran. A firefight on the surface of a shattered moon, bodies falling, shouts lost to vacuumed out in every memory. Cole faced fear not by fighting, but by enduring. The probe strained, sending a sharp whine through the air. Leica pulled back, breathless. You've survived things that would break anyone. Cole smiled slightly. We're all breakable. The trick is to get up again. The next scan was deeper. For a heartbeat, Leica glimpsed something else. A shadow in the shape of a memory. Vast and old, watching through Cole's eyes. It wasn't human. It wasn't even alive. It was a presence, woven through every fear Cole had ever known. Leica staggered back. General, there's something else inside him. Something ancient. Velza listened, hands clasped tight behind her back. Is it a weapon? I don't think so, Leica whispered, still shaken. It's a memory older than our languages. All over the ship, the whispers multiplied. The monster fears the human. Maybe he's not just a man. Even Deathbringer refused food. Pacing restlessly in its cell, General Velza began to wonder, had she captured a prisoner, or invited in something her empire could never control? The awakening signal midnight in deep space, Zurich 9 drifted through. Darkness, surrounded by nothing but the soft, hungry glow of distant nebulae. But inside the ship, anxiety pulsed like static before a storm. Deathbringer howled in its cage, a sound that grated at the hull itself. Technicians muttered about failing systems, doors that wouldn't open, lights that flickered with no reason. In the command center, an alien technician yelped. General, we're receiving a signal, not from any known source. It's targeting Cell 9? Velza's heart skipped. On the main screen, patterns bloomed spirals and circles, lines like veins, and, at their heart, a symbol she recognized from Leica's earlier scans, a human figure surrounded by light. Shut it down, Velza ordered. No transmissions, in or out. But the signal only grew stronger, threading through the ship's circuits, making the lights flicker. Down below, in his cell, Cole opened his eyes, and his veins glowed with a faint, unnatural energy. Leica hurried to his cell, confusion and worry in her eyes. What's happening? Cole shook his head, voice low. Something old remembers. Amy, that night, Velza called an emergency meeting in the memory chamber. She wanted answers, not rumors. Cole was brought in, bound by magnetic cuffs. As the neural key pressed against his neck, images burst through the room's holographic projectors. This time, not just memories of war or monsters, but visions of an ancient galaxy. Starbirth. Colossal beings forging worlds, then splintering. In conflict. But Shadow, the presence inside Cole, stood before a primordial court of monsters, defiant even as they tore reality around it. It survived by refusing to yield, to cower, or to scream. The signal invaded the ship's systems, a voice echoing from every speaker, neither human nor alien, but vast, sad, and old. He carries the silence. He is not your prisoner. He is your mirror. Release him or be broken. The ship's engines faltered. Gravity twisted. Deathbringer cowered in its cell, refusing to move. Even Velza's most loyal guards whispered about omens and curses. Cole simply closed his eyes and waited. The confrontation, the morning came with flickering lights and the uneasy calm of a hunted animal. Velza watched the security feeds guards walking the halls in pairs. Doors that once opened at her voice now requiring codes. The beast refusing its handlers. She went to cell 9 alone. The guards parted wordlessly, eyes averted. Velza deactivated. The force field herself, standing before the silent man inside. I've ruled by fear for 70 years, she said, her voice quieter than she'd intended. My armies have burned cities and broken rebels, but you make even my monster bow. Cole looked up, eyes ancient and tired. Fear only works until you meet someone who knows it better than you. Velza's hands trembled. What's inside you? What is the signal? Cole stood, the faint glow under his skin now clear as veins of lightning. It's not a weapon. It's what happens when someone stares into the darkness and doesn't blink. It's what's left when you've survived everything. It's memory. It's silence. It's older than war. A sudden surge swept the ship. All systems went dead gravity, lights, even the ever-present hum. Through the darkness, a shape formed, more suggestion than form. The shadow from Cole's. Memories. Velza stepped back. Deathbringer, released by some hidden command, entered the corridor. But this time, it did not roar. Instead, it bowed its monstrous head to Cole, kneeling in the way of old animals before the storm. The shadow's voice came again. Through the beast's mouth, he carries the silence. He is not here to break you. He is here to show you what breaks monsters. Velza fell to her knees. Around the ship, crew abandoned their stations, praying, crying, clinging to each other. Laika, watching from the shadows, realized the truth. This was no curse, but a lesson. Cole approached Velza, helping her to her feet. You want to survive this, General? Then learn to face your own fear. Don't wield it. Master it. The shadow faded. The lights flickered back. Around them, the ship shuddered, then calmed, the storm passing. The silence absolute. The lesson of fear in the aftermath. The legends spread through the fleet. The human who made the beast kneel, the general who survived her own lesson. Crew who once whispered of curses now watched Cole with a different kind of awe. He was no longer a prisoner, but a presence, an echo of something bigger. The ancient signal faded, leaving only a symbol burned into the control deck, a circle. With a single line, the mark of endurance, of memory, of surviving the darkness without flinching. Laika recorded it all. Her logs now required reading for every ship. Fear is not a weapon. It is a teacher. To master it is to become more than monster or prey. Cole stood with Velza on the deck, watching the stars turn. What happens now? She asked, voice raw. We remember, Cole said. We teach others what it means to face the darkness and survive. Velza nodded. She would never be the same. Neither would her crew. The monster, once her weapon, now followed Cole, gentle and obedient. Changed by what it had seen, Cole left Xerac 9 in a small shuttle, disappearing into the quiet between stars. A legend carried in the stories of those who had seen the beast kneel and learned that the greatest power was not fear, but the refusal to be ruled by it. And across the galaxy, wherever courage faltered and darkness loomed, the question would echo, even my beast fears me, won't you, human?